Hello, we are Group 5, Megan, James, and Kelsey. We're bringing you the data overview for Huxley Middle School. We're reviewing the data from the last 2 to 3 school years.
First, we're going to look at the state accreditation results. While we're looking at this data, I want us to be thinking about where is the largest gap between the school and accreditation benchmark, and where is the least amount of improvement over the past 3 years. As a school, we've not met the accreditation benchmark or the criteria for narrow margin of improvement in any subject area. However, you'll see that we were much closer in history and science. Our gap in English is relatively large, but it has consistently improved by 7% in year 1 data. The gap in math has remained almost exactly the same for year 3 data and has decreased by 5% in year 1 data. While there is a large gap in English and there's a decrease in the year 3 data in English, the math data shows less improvement overall, which shows that we need to look deeper into why our math scores are showing no improvement or change. For our school enrollment, we are on our 3rd new principal in the last 5 years, and we have experienced extensive teacher turnover, and our overall enrollment as far as student population has decreased yearly. The grade level enrollment has decreased yearly as well, except for a slight increase between 2014 and 2016 and the 2015-2016 school year in 6th grade. Overall, our school demographics remain similar, with the vast majority of the student population identifying as Black or African American. The percentage of the Black or African American student subgroup has increased from 93 to 95% of the student population, and the subgroup of students identifying as white has decreased from 4.5% to 1.5% of the overall population. All other subgroups have remained at less than 1% of the overall population, and attendance rates have remained above 90% for all students. While our passing rates are significantly below the state average for all subjects, our math passing rates remain the lowest consistently from year to year, which shows us that there is a problem within all grade levels, so we might need to evaluate math. Writing does show a major drop from the 2014-2015 school year to the 2015-2016 school year. However, we only have writing data for grade 8.
Now, as we take a look at our student subgroup data, I want you to notice where the largest room for improvement is across these subgroups. As we take a look at the English, you'll notice that English has slowly increased their performance in relation to state passing rates. Each year we have data. The subgroup of students with disabilities is the only group that has remained 36% lower than the state for all 3 years. And we need to be considering what is causing this discrepancy but there is overall just significant gains and consistent gains across English each year. As we take a look at the math across the subgroups, be thinking about the difference in these math performance rates as opposed to their English rates. Similarly, students with disabilities subgroup, the pass rate is significantly lower than state. However, in math, it does decrease as opposed to English. The math rate does decrease yearly. Additionally, the male student subgroup has continued to have over 50% lower pass rates than the state. Overall, we are seeing lower performance in students in math when compared to the state performance. And then looking at student performance across grade levels in our school in math and in English. When looking at these two graphs, I want you to be thinking about what you notice about students' overall performance across our school in both math and English. There are many less students passing in math overall, and the math pass rates do increase from the 13-14 school year to the 14-15 school year, but then they do decrease again the following year, showing that math performance is fluctuating a little bit more over time. The pass rate in language arts, however, or in English, is significantly higher than in math and continuing to grow over time in comparison to the math.
Now we're going to take a look at the data from grade 6. Some things I want us to think about while we're reviewing this slide is what has contributed to the increase in the pass rates in reading? How can we maintain enthusiasm towards teaching reading? And what techniques should we continue using to ensure that we remain on this path of growth? Overall, we're seeing an increase in passing and a decrease in failing when looking at English performance. Kelsey, would you mind going one slide back? Thank you. Oh, you went one slide forward. All right, there's our English. All right, overall, we're seeing a 10% increase and a 10% decrease as far as passing and failing, which is significant over the past 2 years. While we are seeing an increase in passing students, we're also seeing an overall increase in advanced and proficient. This shows that we're on the right track with reading instruction and that we are improving reading scores. While we're looking at the math data for grade 6, I want us to be thinking about, while our new math curriculum focused significantly on problem solving and mathematical reasoning, we're still seeing a huge discrepancy between school passing rates and state passing rates. While you're looking at this data, what do you notice? What kind of strategies could we implement to improve student proficiency? Overall, with math, there is very little change. The increase of students passing and decrease of students failing is minimal. It's only about a 3% change each way, which is very low and within the standard deviation. In the past 2 school years, there have not been any 6th grade students that have performed at an advanced level in math. And over the course of the past 2 years, only 4% more students have scored proficient. So this shows that we are lacking in our math instruction and performance. Our students are not performing at the rate that they should be. Our failure rates are over 50% higher than the state average each year. So we need to look at how to both improve mathematics instruction as well as our scores for our students.
And then looking at the general trend across 7th grade, as we look at just overall the trend between English and math scores, again, I want you to be thinking about what you notice between English and math scores and what might be causing this discrepancy. As you'll see, the English scores, again, do have a steady increase in their pass rates each year. However, math is a little more inconsistent. There is an increase, again, of 18% in pass between 13-14 school year and the 14-15 school year. But then the pass rate does decline again by 11% in the from the 14-15 to 15-16 school years. Our greatest areas of strength are in English. The pass rate does increase overall by 23% for the 7th grade class each year, and we need to be thinking about how we can continue to sustain this math performance so that it can also have a steady rate of increase. Thinking specifically about each content area for let me move that. For the English content area, again, overall, the state does have a higher number of students passing, and the state pass rate also improves each year. And then in our school, we also do see the pass rate improving each year. The fail rate goes from 74% in the 2013-2014 school year down to 51% in the 2015-2016 school year, again showing that rate of increase. And then as we look at our math, Again, despite implementing our new curriculum, which is going more in depth and more rigorous and demanding for students, we do see that inconsistency over time. We don't have any students scoring advanced each year. The state pass rate is 46 to 57% better than our pass rate. Again, we do see an increase in pass rate between year 1 and year 2, but then it jumps back up to 85% failing for the 2015-2016 school year.
Now for grade 8 reading scores, we are looking at Huxley Middle School students that are struggling in reading. I want you to think about why this proficiency in reading has increased over the couple years and what have we done to affect this reading proficiency. There has been an increase by 6% in students passing from the 2013-14 to 15-16 school year. The number of proficient students have increased similarly. It is important to review the techniques being used and how they may have contributed to this change. We have hovered between 38 and 43% below the state average for passing students. We have seen an increase in reading because of our enthusiastic new staff using new and innovative teaching techniques to engage our students. Eighth grade math has seen a similar increase, but only slightly. Again, our students struggled in math as they did in reading. Our principal for the last 2 years was a math educator that had introduced some regular changes in the curriculum. We have seen this change in the 2014-15 to 2015-16 school year, where we have seen an increase from 27% passing to 42% passing, with a total of a 15% increase in 8th grade math scores. We have also seen an increase of 1% of students deemed advanced in the 2015-16 school year. Huxley has cut down the percentages below the state average from 40% below the state average to 31% below the state average. The area of focus that we have chosen is mathematics. When looking at the accreditation benchmark, math is the lowest score, though English is a close second. Our failure rates for math were mostly above 40% worse than the state average. Mathematics and English reading are the only test scores that we had across all subject grade levels. The average proficiency improvement for math was only 8% compared to 13% increase in reading. The average of students passing is 27% in math and 39% in reading. Across the demographic areas, there is a large discrepancy between state and school pass rates. Across the grade levels, failure rates are significantly high, even with the slight improvement in 8th grade. Problem-solving skills in math are helpful across disciplines and applicable to real-world experiences. To create buy-in with all staff, we will explain how critical reading skills are needed to increase math comprehension. We have some further data points that we need to identify our learner-centered problem. The first is student work. Student work shows examples of the student skills outside of a big test assessment. Classroom observations. This shows what skills are being taught in the classroom and allows our teachers to provide peer feedback to one another. Performance testing. This will show us where our students start the year in regards to their grade level math skills, and then we can check their growth at the end of the school year. An inventory of instructional initiatives. This will allow us to track the instructional initiatives that we have in place and whether they are contributing to the success of our school. Classroom formative assessments. These will show what skills are frequently being missed on the daily, weekly, or monthly assessments. Interviews with teachers, staff, and students. This will show what the staff and students believe are the skills that need to be addressed. Thank you for listening to our presentation on Huxley Middle School. We look forward to working to identify the learner-centered problem in mathematics.